good evening. It's Thursday, September 8th. And thanks so much for being here and welcome to Everyday Talk 24/7. It's great to have you here tonight. This week we've been talking about choices. We talked about peace as a choice, anger as a choice, love as a choice. Now tonight we're going to talk about anxiety being a choice. And by that, I don't mean to make it simple or easy. If you've had long periods of being anxious and worrisome and feeling the weight of things just crushing down on you, those aren't going to go away just because we talked about it, because I say it's a choice. It's recognizing that we have been telling ourselves a narrative for a long time that people and circumstances are the reason we have anxiety. When in reality, we've made people and circumstances bigger than God, which is why we have anxiety. When the nation of Israel was before Goliath, they were all scared to death. They were full of anxiety. They were full of worry. And David, a young teenager, shows up on the scene, says, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine who bothers to even, darken God's door with his garbage and his false claims?" And he goes out with a little slingshot and a tiny stone and takes him out. But at another time in David's life, when he did something incredibly stupid, he walked into the enemy camp thinking that they were going to protect him, when in reality they hated him because he'd been leading victories against them. So he walked into the worst possible place. He realized that he was in real deep trouble, probably going to die. And he cried out to God. And so we see in Psalm 34, we read this. "This poor man called, and the Lord heard him." The poor man is David. He saved him out of all of his troubles. "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them." That's the truth that I want to focus on tonight. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him. Just because I have anxieties, just because I have fears, it doesn't mean that the angel of the Lord does not encamp around me. God's angels are not driven off because I have anxieties. You and I don't have that kind of power. So we may be almost incapacitated by our fears and anxieties. The Lord hasn't gone anywhere. His angels haven't gone anywhere. They still remain encamped around us. So even in our fears and our anxieties, we are still protected by God. Anxiety comes from the narrative that we tell ourselves. And the longer we listen to that story, the more deeply ingrained it becomes. The more I hang on to it. But if I can begin to understand reality the way that David did, or perhaps understand reality in the way that Mary did, when she was presented with a situation that would easily bring about tons of tension and anxiety, she remembers the faithfulness of God and says, "May it be to me as the Lord has said," even though it meant a whole bunch of uncomfortable situations for her. I want to talk about anxiety again on Saturday morning because we got a Q&A Friday tomorrow. So I'm going to talk about anxiety again on Saturday. But all I want to say tonight is just let's realize that it's a choice. It may take a while for us to work through it. It's not something that just goes away just like that. But it's still a choice that we make. And we can choose to believe God, that the angels of God are encamped around us. We can choose to believe God that Jesus paid the penalty for our sins. I don't have to be burdened down with guilt. But Christ took that. You don't have to be a slave to sin. I don't have to be a slave to the anxieties and fears. Rather, I can know in peace and contentment what it means to trust God. And again, we'll talk more specifically about this on Saturday. But this one great truth that we want to hang on to. Let your story that you tell yourself be more in line with what David is saying here. This poor man called and the Lord heard him. He saved him out of all of his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivered them. Brothers and sisters, the angels of the Lord are encamped around you, and you are secure. Not from the troubles of this world, but you are secure in the hand of God. And in that we can be confident. And that's just the place to start this discussion about anxiety as a choice. Let's choose to believe that the angel of the Lord is encamped around us. And that the enemy of our soul wants us to think that our God is not caring for us, when in fact, He's committed himself to us because of the blood and faithfulness of Christ. And that's a really good thought to end on for this night. Looking forward to Q&A Friday tomorrow. I think you still have time to get some questions in if you want that. Thanks so much for being here. Check us out at everydaytalk247.com. If you haven't subscribed, turn on post notifications. Videos will come right to you. Just like fear, love, and peace, anxiety is a choice. If we believe God's narrative, then we can be free of that. Not necessarily easily, but surely. Again, thanks so much for being here, and Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.